who are here in each case. We were set for final on each case. We are conducting these hearings through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Goodman is making our record. All right, I just had Kelsey White come into the waiting room. Is she here for this?
Kelsey's on the adversary after this,
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements then.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Lori Lucero on behalf of the mother, Jessica Roberson, Your Honor, we're present, ready.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of the children.
Dashi Casa.
For the record, Mr. Garcia is not present in Casey's case, nor his attorney, Mr. Harwood. My recollection is that both parents have now relinquished in that case. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, so today are we all in agreement? We're going to move forward on a prove up in that case?
Yes, ma'am. I've not heard any objections to that. That's my understanding, Your Honor.
Okay.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, and then in on Hale's case, Mr. Ramos, the alleged father in that case, is not present today. All right.
And Judge, also, just for the record, on Nayeli's case, Mr. Hardwood and Mr. Garcia are also a party to that case. He was involved in that case and we severed the cases, so they're actually parties in KC's and Nayeli's case.
Okay, is he also father of Nayeli?
Nayeli. Yes, ma'am. And he relinquished on that too. His relinquishment involved both children.
Oh, okay. All right.
So depending on where we go today, depends on what we'll do with that case.
Yeah, I guess when we got them severed, right, I need to just make a note, but
Yes, ma'am.
I know that in the two cases, we have the issue about the department was wanting to push out the final and to continue monitoring for a period of time.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
mother, Ms. Roberson, objected to that. So just kind of in the interest of time, let's go ahead and let me just take up the department's motion for continuance. Our dismissal date is not until July 11th of this year. So, Mr. Trout, if you want to go ahead and argue your motion for continuance, and then I'll allow everybody to respond.
Yes, Your Honor. Department would like to move the final out due to, we're still having some issues with attendance at school with Angel, the youngest. Also, Angel's father or alleged father in that case has recently, I believe, at the end of February, been released from jail in Oklahoma. My worker was just able to contact him on Friday. He has not been in contact with us since he got out of jail until she contacted him on Friday. We don't know exactly if he's willing to work in that case or what he is willing to do. He didn't say a whole lot in his communication with her on that day. It is just my understanding from what I've been hearing that mom's plan is, if we get out of these cases, is to go back to Oklahoma and to reconcile with him. We have no way of knowing anything about him as he's been in jail throughout the life of this case up to this point. So we still have concerns there. We still have concerns with mom's stability at this time. We've had issues where kids and mom have been sick, and at times St. Francis has had to purchase groceries for mom within the last month, as she was not working for being sick and didn't have food in the house. So we still have some stability issues and some care issues along with the education issues that we want to make sure are stable before we are out of the case, Your Honor. I also have a witness I would like to call. She took her time to be with us today. The vice principal at the school that Angel is at, as far as his attendance records.
Okay. So it's the department's understanding that she's wanting to relocate to Oklahoma.
That is what I've been advised, Your Honor, that is her plan. I don't know when she plans on doing that, but that is my understanding is the plan. And if you if the court will allow us the latitude to call a couple of witnesses, we can find out more on that.
Your Honor, can I state something now, or do you need me to wait?
No, that's fine. You can go ahead and kind of just give me an overview and then we can actually call witnesses or whatever we
Okay.
need to do.
Your Honor, I had sent out some exhibits to the parties, the attorneys, and to Rachel. The dates that they're alleging that he did miss school, Ms. Roberson has provided doctor's notes. He had COVID, he had fever, COVID and strep, he had pink eye and COVID, so that's why he was missing school. You know how the schools are, if your child has fever, they will send him home. She tried to drop him off a couple, when she thought he was better, she tried to drop him off and they called her right back. And so he also got hurt at school, and the school didn't let her know until after the fact. So she took him to the doctor. I mean, they hit him on his ear, his skull. So he was out for a few days, and she provided that note. I didn't have a copy to send out to everyone, but I believe she did. The school has those notes, and she didn't. I'm assuming maybe CPS or the department has those. As far as she's always worked. Yeah, she did struggle because she had COVID too, so she got a little bit behind. But the kids were placed back with her in December. She's been able, she works, she takes care of these kids, she takes them to and from school, and she's done everything that's been asked of her, and she just wants to be able to just move on. She's worked really hard, and we're just asking the court to just be done today. And I will add, Your Honor, you had stated at the last hearing that that if Angel were to stay in counseling, you didn't want his counseling sessions, to mess with him, get to school. Well, she did take him during the spring break because it wouldn't interfere with school. She took him to one session. She advises that they tried to set it up again yesterday, but she told them no because it would interfere with school again. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
Your Honor? My question going forward is where the status of the criminal charges are. It's my understanding there may still be some jail time as a possibility, and my concern is what the plan with the kids would be if that happens, and maybe it won't happen,
Your Honor, I can address that, or Ms. Roberson can address that. It's my understanding that that a probation is on the table at this time. I don't know the amount. I think they're trying to negotiate the amount of probation, but as far as jail time, that doesn't seem like that's something that's, I'm not gonna say 100% because I don't know, but it's her understanding that her attorney's trying to negotiate the least amount of probation as possible.
Those charges in Potter County?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Your Honor.
And there's 3 pending charges, Your Honor. 2 of them are misdemeanors. They involve Brooklyn, the child that has aged out of care. The one case, which is the felony case, is a injury to a child, and that involves Nayeli.
And that was the case that started this CPS
Yes.
case, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's what led to the removal.
Right. Does Ms. Roberson then has a criminal attorney on that?
Yes, she does.
Who's representing her on that?
Cody Purtle.
Okay.
Ms.
And,
Roberson, do you have a court date set?
April 8th we go, but we're not gonna do the trial or the 6 months of state jail. I actually go meet up with him tomorrow, and we're gonna discuss it. So he said more than likely 2 to 5 on probation.
Is that a plea date or is that like just a docket call, or what do you have on that date? Do you know?
It's supposed to be a jury trial date, but we're not taking it to trial or anything. So I just go in and then that's it. That's what I've been doing.
But you're up for trial?
They say, well, it's not actual trial.
You understand, Your Honor, it's my understanding that she's on the jury trial docket, but now once she gets her final offer, that she would go in and do her plea as opposed to proceed to trial.
And we think that's gonna happen April 8th?
April 8th. I'm supposed to talk to him tomorrow about probation, and he says that he already emailed the DA. So all I gotta do is go see what he says. And that's tomorrow morning at 9.
Right.
And Your Honor, I think Ms. Lucero answered this, but I'm just looking in Odyssey right now. It is, April 8th is set as a jury trial date, is what it is.
Okay.
But normally if they don't proceed on that day, they can set it for a plea on a different date or plea on that date.
Yeah, I understand. Is she number one on the docket?
I don't think I am.
Okay.
Usually when I do that, for the last months that I've been doing it, it says jury trial, but I go in, my attorney's not there, and then they let me wait just to check in and then leave.
Okay. All right, then, I'll go ahead and let y'all present witnesses and exhibits and things on the issue of the continuance. Because it is just, we're still considering the continuance, let's try to keep it as relevant and as short as we can.
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, I'd first call Ray Cruz.
All right, yes, ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Yes.
Okay, all right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Cruz, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Ray Liza Cruz.
And Ms. Cruz, how are you employed?
I am the assistant principal and attendance keeper for Pleasant Valley Elementary.
And at your school, is that the school where Angel Ramos attends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at your school, do y'all keep regular attendance records?
Yes.
And do y'all keep those in the regular course of business?
Yes,
And do you have access to those records?
I do.
And are you a custodian of record for those records?
Yes, sir.
Have you reviewed the attendance records of Angel Ramos?
Yes, pretty consistently.
Okay. What, can you tell us how many days at this point he has missed throughout the school year?
39 days.
Okay. And is that 39 from the very beginning in August?
Yes.
Okay. Now he was reunited, placed back in the home with his mother, at the end of October.
Correct.
From August to the end of October, how many days of school did he miss or absences did he have?
He had 4 absences.
Okay. So from August until the end of October, he had 4.
Yes.
Okay. Since the end of October till now, how many absences has he had?
35.
Okay. And that has been since he's been back in mom's custody.
Yes, from my understanding, Halloween is when she got custody of him.
Okay. Or possession of him, I should say.
Okay.
How many of those have been excused?
We have 23 total.
Okay, 23 total and so 16 unexcused.
Correct.
Okay. Did you receive, I just emailed it out. I don't know if you've had time to check your email. Did you receive what I sent out just now that's marked exhibit number 1?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me what that is?
This is his his attendance report that shows the comments of the reasons why he was absent.
Okay. And this is something that you pulled and you have sent me.
Correct.
Okay. So did I alter anything on this document?
No, sir.
Is it an accurate document of what you sent
It
me?
is. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 1. It's the attendance record that Ms. Cruz just testified to.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Cruz, do you have, I know Ms. Lucero has sent out documentation of doctor's excuses. Does the school have copies of those excuses?
Yes.
Okay. Now you and I spoke earlier and you mentioned, that there was a note turned over, back in February that gave you concern. Is that correct?
Yes, that was just the one you had mentioned you didn't have documentation for one of the absences, and that's the absence that we received a falsified doctor's note.
Okay. And you said it was falsified. Did you check into that?
Yes, sir. When
Well,
I
I'm
received
gonna
it,
object to hearsay.
when I received the
Hold
note,
on, Ms. Cruz.
Hang on,
Sorry.
Ms. Cruz. Okay. Sustain.
Did y'all accept that as a excused absence for a doctor's note?
no, sir.
So that one was unexcused.
Correct.
And y'all have let me back up. Out of all the excuse that y'all have had since January, the beginning of the semester, have all of the absences been excused for this year?
No, not since January. A majority have been.
Okay. Do y'all have a truancy agreement with mom?
Yes, I started an attendance contract with her in December.
Okay.
And that was set to expire in this month.
Okay. But you're still having issues with attendance at this time, is that correct?
Yes, during that attendance contract, he did have some absences that were unexcused, and so we had to set up a truancy workshop with Ms. Roberson.
Okay, and tell me what a truancy workshop is.
A truancy workshop is just where the parent will attend and we go through just the importance of attendance and what that means for the child. And just kind of explaining procedures, next steps if the child continues to miss school, whether
Okay.
that be a court hearing or anything like that.
Okay, and truancy workshops, are they tied to the truancy agreement?
Yes, so the agreement, when we do the agreement, if they don't meet that agreement, then the next step is a truancy workshop.
Okay. Have you set up a truancy workshop with mom?
We did for March 4th.
Okay. And did mom attend that truancy workshop?
No, sir.
Okay. Did she call ahead and advise that she was not going to be there?
No, I wasn't made aware. The truancy workshop is held at the district office, and they called to let me know that she didn't show up, and he hadn't heard from her.
Okay. So we have a truancy agreement with Angel, for him not to have unexcused absences. If those absences happen, you have a truancy workshop.
Correct.
Okay. And up to this point, he has missed school with unexcused absences and mom no-showed the truancy workshop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When is the next truancy workshop available?
There's not another truancy workshop available with the district.
Okay. And when you say not another, that's for this school year?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Has there been a determination of what the next steps are?
We have a protocol, so we've sent out another 10-day letter, and then they send another 20-day letter after the 10 days. So I think our 20-day letter should go out this week.
Okay. And what do you mean by a 10-day and a 20-day letter?
It's just notification, letting parents know about the attendance issue and whether we need to take them to attendance truancy court.
Okay.
Just giving them another opportunity to correct the
Okay.
behavior.
What makes the determination on whether you end up going to truancy court or not?
Really continued absences, and also we have to take that to an attendance committee with the district so we can make that determination.
Okay. When does that committee meet?
Having let's see, let me look when. Sorry, I'm looking at, so the last 3 unexcused absences were March 7th, 21st, and 24th. So I typically pull my reports on Tuesdays. Today is Tuesday, and I haven't done that yet. So we would probably meet within the next week.
Okay, and then the determination will be made.
Yes.
And you said one of his last unexcused was yesterday?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Cruz. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Lucero?
Thank you. Ms. Cruz, I'm looking at this exhibit that was sent out, I guess, on his attendance record. And I'm
Yes,
looking from January 13th forward. And so in looking at that on January the 21st, well, there's the 13th, the 14th, 15th, 17th. Those weren't, was he considered absent? Let me be specific. On January the 17th, he arrived at 10:02. Was he absent for the day then?
He was.
Okay, but he was actually there. He was just late, but he was in attendance that day, right?
Yes, looks like he showed up at 10:02.
Okay, all right then. And then on January 21st, 2025, it says called in per mom.
Right.
So she was calling in saying that he would not be in attendance. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes,
then on the 31st, it says a doctor's note per mom. Right?
correct.
Now, I guess maybe you wrote on this. It says on the 5th of February. Do you see that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you aware that I guess Ankit had was hurt there while he was in the care of the school? Were you aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did he miss some days due to that, him getting injured at school?
Yes, he didn't miss that day. He stayed through that day, but he did miss the following.
Okay. And were you aware that no one from the school let either CPS or Miss Roberson know that he'd been injured at school?
I haven't looked that up. But usually if there's an injury, parents are notified.
Okay. And did she sent a note to the school saying that he was going to be out of school due to that injury. Is that correct?
She sent us a doctor's note via email that he was out.
Okay. All right then. And then I'm going to go on down to February the 18th. I guess Ms. Roberson was sick with bronchitis and was unable to bring him to school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then from the 19th through, I guess, let's see, February 19th through the missed dates that I'm referring to through February 28th of 2025, he had doctor's notes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then on the 6th of March, she was out, mother was out sick with fever and she said she couldn't bring him in. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, March the 7th and the 21st and the 24th left voicemail. Does that mean that y'all called her or she called y'all?
That means we were trying to contact mom to find out if he was, what the deal was, why he wasn't here.
Right, I understand. Okay. All right. I just want to be clear on that because I didn't understand that either. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this contract with Jessica, there was a contract and then y'all re-entered a second contract. Is that right?
No, we just had one. We've only had one contract that was from December 18th, and it was supposed to expire March 18th, but
Okay.
then we still had absences. So then that's when we set up the truancy workshop.
And whenever y'all have that contract, do y'all take into consideration when there's a doctor's notes, or do y'all count those still as absences that this contract?
No,
Okay.
the contract does state that every absence will require a doctor's note.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further of this witness?
Real quick, Ms. Cruz. February 2nd, February 6th, and February 7th, those absences, that says child was injured while at school. and he was out for a few days. Those are unexcused at this point, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the 7th, 21st, and 24th are all unexcused at this point. March
May-
6th,
March.
March
Yes, sir.
7th, March 21st, and March 24th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last little over 2 months, we have, was it around 21 days total with 15 excused and 6 unexcused absences?
Yes, 21 days.
Okay. As an educator, and in the field that you're in, is that a lot of absences, whether excused or not, for 2 months?
Yes. Typically, in the state of Texas, I believe it's 20% of days is, I mean, is excessive. And that would be 20% of the school year, which is 18 days. And that's when typically we would kind of meet to determine how are the grades, what does it look like? Do we need to retain the student because they're so far behind? So if 20% is when we meet, when a committee meets to do something like that, then yes, the 21 days in these last couple of months is excessive.
Okay. And you said around 18 days in a year. So right now we're over double of what is kind of acceptable. Is that correct?
Well, we're over the 20%. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And when you say whether you would retain the student, does that mean hold back in the
Yes.
grade? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is that a concern right now with Angel?
Partially, I've met with the classroom teacher just to kind of look at where he is. He is given opportunity to make up his work, and so a lot of the instruction that he's getting is through makeup work, or the teacher having to pull him back and do one-on-one. Right now, his grades are not at a place where he's failing, but he is behind.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else have any further questions for Ms.
Your Honor,
Cruz?
I do.
Sure.
Ms. Ray, as far as his grades, I know he's young. I mean, does he have number grades? Does he have letter grades, or what does he have?
They have number grades.
Okay. And so in reviewing your records, you said he's not failing anything. Is that correct?
Currently, he's not. And if you'll give me just a second, I can pull that up.
Okay. And while you're looking that up, may I ask, or do you know, has AJ been diagnosed with dyslexia?
Give me one moment. I'm so sorry. No, I don't have him as a dyslexic student.
Okay. All right. Now, what's the school's policy regarding if a child's running fever, can they attend school?
No, if they're running fever at school or at home, they may not return for 24 hours after the fever is gone.
Okay. So let's say that he's out with the doctor's note, just a child's out with the doctor's note, and they're supposed to be able to come back on Friday. They're out with the doctor's note to Thursday, but then they're running a fever that night. Can the parents send them to school on Friday morning?
They should not.
Okay. So if they miss that next day after they're released from the doctor, because they're still running fever, the parent needs to be responsible, keep them out of school, and then send them whenever they're fever free. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm sorry, you probably already answered my question, but I didn't write it down. Did you, he's not failing any classes at this time? How did you respond to that? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, he is currently not failing any classes at this time.
Do you have there in your records any days that Angel was sent home, or Uncle was sent home for having fever at school?
One moment. No, he's not. He was sent home. February 24th of this year is the only time we've sent him home.
Okay. Okay, all right, I'll pass the witness. I'm sorry, I'll pass the witness,
Yep.
Your Honor.
Sorry. Okay, anybody else have any questions for Ms. Cruz?
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, any objection to Ms. Cruz leaving us and going on about her day?
No
No
objection.
objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Cruz, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate you logging in and joining us. You're free to go at this time.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Cruz.
you.
I appreciate your help.
All right, Mr. Trout, any further witnesses on this topic?
I'd call Tessa Weston real quick, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Weston, if you'll raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, all right, you may proceed.
Ms. Weston, would you state your name for the record, please?
Tessa Weston.
And Ms. Weston, how are you employed?
I'm a permanency specialist at St. Francis Ministries.
And are you familiar with the case involving Angel Ramos and Nayeli Roberson?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how are you familiar with those cases?
I have been the worker on the case for the past few months now.
So you took over the case, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. When you took over the case, Angel's father, where was he?
He was incarcerated in Oklahoma.
Okay, and child, I'm sorry, I should say alleged father at this time. I don't believe he's been adjudicated. So he was in Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know what he was incarcerated for?
Yes, sir.
And what was that?
It's for an offense with alcohol, driving under the influence.
And he had been incarcerated throughout the life of this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did he get out?
The end of February.
Okay. And did he contact you when he got out of jail?
He did not.
Okay. Were you able to contact him?
Yes, I was.
When was that?
Friday, March 21st.
Okay. And what was your conversation like with Dad at that time?
He was just very kind of non-responsive. He didn't have a lot to say. He wasn't dismissive so much as he just wasn't forthcoming. I explained what I was calling him about, and he just really didn't have much to say. I asked him if he had any questions. He did not, and the conversation was just very short.
Did you try to discuss service plans with him, whether he was planning on doing any services now that he is out of jail, or if he was able to do any services while he was in jail?
Yes, sir. I asked about services with him that I could start with him or work with him on, and he just again wasn't responsive to my questions.
He didn't state one way or the other whether he wanted to work services or didn't want to work?
No, sir, he did not.
Okay. Have you had conversations with Mom, Jessica Roberson, about Jose Ramos?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. How did you get the number to contact him?
She provided that number to me.
Has Mom stated what her intentions are with Dad? Is she plan on staying in Texas? Does she plan on going to Oklahoma? Has she stated to you what she wants to do?
She does want to go back to Oklahoma.
Okay. And did she tell you that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it your understanding her intention is to, I don't know if the right word's reconcile, but to go be with Jose Ramos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have we had the opportunity to check in with him other than the one phone call you've had with him on where he is living? If it is a safe conditions for two children to go to?
No, sir, I have not had that opportunity.
Do you know where he is living at this time?
I do not.
Do you know, did he tell you what town he was living in?
No, sir.
Did he give you an address or any other way to contact him?
No, sir.
Did he state whether he was living with somebody or living alone?
No, sir.
Do you still have concerns of the department getting out of the case at this time?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe it is in the best interest of the children at this time for the department to stay in for a little while longer to try to make sure mom has stability and that Angel stays straight with school and that we have an opportunity to check out Jose Ramos and to see what his intentions are?
Yes, sir.
And you believe that's in the best interest of these two children?
Yes, sir.
Did St. Francis have to help mom provide food for the children?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when was that?
The end of February.
Okay. Why did the department need to buy, y'all bought groceries for mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why did the department need to do that?
She had started a new job, and it was kind of that gap period between going from one job to the next, not having that paycheck yet. I had been alerted by the school that there was some concerns for AJ had started saying they didn't have food at
I don't
home.
object to hearsay.
Sustained.
You had a report.
Yes.
Did
And
you follow up with mom?
yes, I did.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with mom about food in the house?
Yes.
Okay.
And she stated that they go over to her mom's her grandma's, I'm sorry, to have dinner and eat quite a bit. And she would rather not do that she'd rather just eat at home because of that environment sometimes. And so I explained to her that St. Francis can provide some concrete services if she would like them.
But at that time, there was not sufficient food in the house for mom and children.
That's correct.
Okay. And so the St. Francis paid for and bought groceries for the household.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a concern with you at this time in the case with two children at the home that the Department of St. Francis is having to provide food for the children still?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. LaSure?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Weston, how long have you been on the case, or have you been the permanency specialist for these children?
Since the second week in January.
Okay. So you've had a chance to, I guess, become familiar with the case and read reports and updates, things like that. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you're aware that throughout the pendency of this case, Ms. Roberson has worked, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she's been able to provide herself with a place to live, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then she was able to get that set up so the kids could be returned to her. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a point in time in February, into February that they were struggling with COVID and pink eye and everything at that house?
Yes, ma'am.
And was so did that keep Miss Roberson from working?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So would you or could you agree with me that it was just maybe like a week or so that they were struggling, but otherwise she's been able to provide for her children and for herself through the pendency of this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, now we're at the end of March. You stated that you provided that help to them at the end of February. Has she been able to provide for her children ever since?
Yes, ma'am.
And so as far as stability, I know that there's been an issue with AJ and going to school, but have you talked with Jessica regarding his missed absences, his sicknesses, and things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when AJ was hurt at school, how did you find out that he'd been hurt at school?
And Jessica told me.
Okay. All right. And did she provide any kind of documentation from the doctor's office regarding that injury to you?
The school sent me the note.
Okay. All right. Did you check on AJ after you became aware of that, of him getting hurt at school?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you concerned that the school hadn't let the department know?
Not that they hadn't let the department know. I was concerned that they hadn't informed Jessica that day.
Okay. Now, has Jessica informed you like about Oklahoma? Has she shared with you that that there was a time that she lived in Oklahoma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did she tell you what do you know what town Mr. Jose Ramos is located in?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did she share with you that she just felt like maybe it was just a better environment for her kids, that she did better when she's in Oklahoma? Has she ever shared that with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's not that she just wants to run back to Oklahoma to be Mr. Ramos. She just feels that it would be a better environment for her kids if she was away from Amarillo. Is that correct? Or has she shared that with you? I should ask it that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she was cooperative to you. She provided Mr. Ramos's phone number when you asked her for it, did she not?
She didn't ask. I didn't ask her for it. She just provided it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Vol?
Your Honor, I have no questions.
All right, anything further of this witness, Mr. Trout?
Nothing further this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, any additional witnesses on as far as your motion for continuance?
Not at this time, Your Honor. No, ma'am. No more
All right.
other witnesses.
Okay, Ms. Lucero?
Your Honor, I'd call my client, Jessica Roberson, please.
All right, Ms. Roberson, unmute. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, you may proceed.
Jessica, I don't believe that you have the exhibit that Mr. Trout had was admitted, exhibit 1. Do you have any kind of printout from the school about Angel's or Angel's missed days at school?
The only one I got was the one from before the other court, the last court.
Okay. Now, do you recall when we were here at the last time that that there were concerns about Angel missing school? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And did you hear the vice principal or the principal's testimony as she and Mr. Trout and she and I also went through the missed dates? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now there's some dates, quite a few of those dates have a note that you provided to the school regarding Angel being sick or have gone to the doctor. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you provide 4 different notes to me?
To you, yes.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay. Okay, hold on just a second. And are those what are those? I mean, not what do they contain, but what are those 4 notes? What are they?
do you want me to flip my camera?
No, I'm just asking you, where do those notes come from?
They came from BSA and Northwest.
Okay. And did you provide those to the school and to the department?
Yes.
Okay. And did you change them in any way or alter them in any way?
No.
Your Honor, I'd ask for the court to admit, Ms. Roberson's, there's 4 documents, Your Honor. We can just call them all Exhibit 1. And then there's 4 pages, or they can be Exhibit 1 through 4. I don't know how the court wants to do that.
However you want to offer them, it's fine with me.
Your Honor, I would just, I'll just go ahead and offer them all 4 documents together, if that's all right.
All right, any objections to Ms. Roberson's Exhibit 1?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, then Ms. Mother's Exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Okay. Okay, Jessica, those exhibits, you have one from, there's different pages, there's 4 pages, but there's one there from BSA. I don't know if you have that in front of you. It's the one, date of visit, February the 19th of 2025. Do you see that one?
The 19th to the 24th. Yes.
Okay, and what was going on with him that he missed school then?
He had caught COVID because I was with bronchitis.
Okay, all right. And then, and you provided those to the school and to the department?
Yes.
Okay, and then there's another page there, I believe it says, February the 27th of 2025. Do you see that one?
It's the 24th to the 27th.
Okay. That he can return to school on the 27th. Is that what that says?
Yes.
Okay, and then it says that, well, he can return when he's fever free. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so when you have from the 24th to the 27th, did he return to school after the 27th or no?
No,
Okay, and why not?
because he had COVID and the strep still and a fever.
Okay. Now, so when the dates that he missed school in February, did you provide notes to the school that he was a doctor's note?
Yes, ma'am.
And then there's another one, if you see it there, it's from Northwest Texas healthcare system. I believe it's, and I'm sorry, you sent these to me and I'm having a hard time seeing them. I believe it says March 2nd, 2025. Is that right?
Yes, he went back to the hospital on the 26th instead of the 27th. He went back on the 26th and then he wasn't supposed to return until the 2nd.
Okay, and why did he go back to the hospital or to the urgent care, wherever he was, on the 26th?
He still had fever, COVID, and then he got pink eye.
Okay, and did you provide that to the school?
Yes.
And then you provided another one to me, is that correct? I don't think I have that pulled up. Let me look. Did you provide another note to the school?
Yes. From
Okay, and what were those dates?
3 to the 10th. February 3rd to the 10th. That was for the ear problem.
Okay. And okay, and that was in February?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the ear what is that?
The
For the school, the injury?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell us just a little bit more about that injury? What happened as far as you know?
All I know is he came home. I picked him up like a normal day. He came home. He said, I went to go like rub his hair down. And he said, Mom, my ear hurts. I was thinking it was an infection, like an ear infection. I didn't see anything. Well, when he turned his head a couple hours later, that's when I seen the bruising. It was purple and black. And then it had like a slit cut in the inside. So I took him to the hospital to his doctor. And then I took him to the hospital later that night. And they said it was in between the skull and the ear. But he told me some kid, he was trying to hurry up and get up, and some kid pushed him, and he hit the table in between the table and squished it. When I called the school that morning to tell him he's not going to go to school because they didn't tell me about the injury, they fought with me on the phone talking about, well, he was fine yesterday.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
All right, so Jessica, so you took him to the doctor and did you get a doctor's note for him to stay out of school for a certain period of time?
Yes,
Did he return to school when those days, when he was supposed to return to school?
yes.
Okay. Now, were there any other dates that he missed that you have doctor's notes that we have not provided as exhibits today?
Yeah, he also has one in January that I just rarely seen on my pictures.
And what dates was he out of school in January?
13th to the 15th.
Okay, all right. And the court, the exhibit from the department does show that the court, that those were excused absences per doctor's note. Now, on January the 7th, no, I'm sorry, on March the 7th, he missed school and it says left a voicemail. Why did he miss school that day?
The 7th, I don't remember. If the only times he would miss school is if he has fever and I don't take him.
Okay, now, do you call the school whenever he has fever and let him know that he won't be in school?
Yes,
Okay, so if he missed school on March the 7th, 2025, March 21st, 2025, and just yesterday, did you call the school and let him know that he was going to be absent?
yes, on the 21st, yes,
How about yesterday?
yes. He
Okay.
was running late.
I'm sorry?
He was supposed to be running late.
Did he go to school yesterday?
No, Nayeli.
Okay, why did he not go to school yesterday?
We were on our way going to Canyon, and then I came back and I said I'm not going to take him to counseling, so I just said stay home, and that was it. That day, yes, I did keep him home.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm just talking about yesterday. Did he
Yeah.
go to school? Did he go to school yesterday?
No,
And why not?
I just kept him home because he had counseling meeting, and I didn't want to take him after I got halfway down.
So did he go to counseling yesterday or no?
No,
Okay, so you didn't take him to counseling and then you didn't take him to school either?
no.
Okay, all right. And who set up that counseling session?
CPS wanted me to do it again.
Okay.
Uh,
Did you discuss with them that Judge Baker had ordered for him not to go to counseling if he's gonna miss school?
yes, I've explained that to Tessa, but the other lady that came over here was Mickey.
Why did you not take him to school since you didn't take him to counseling?
Because he was already running late by the time we went back.
Would it have been after 10 o'clock?
Yes.
Are there times that you ever keep him home from school because he's throwing a fit and doesn't want to walk into the school?
No. He has thrown a fit since before.
Now, have you had contact with Jose?
Every once in a while, yes.
Okay, and you've heard the testimony that the department's under the impression that you want to go back to Oklahoma so you and maybe Jose can work on y'all's relationship or get back together. Is that what your plan is?
I just want to go back to Oklahoma because that's where I want to be. I don't want to go just because of him.
Do you know what town he's in?
Somewhere towards Bethany. I don't know. It's in the city.
Okay. What do you mean the city, like Oklahoma City?
Yes.
Okay. And are you planning to go, if you go to Oklahoma, are you planning to go to the Oklahoma City area?
No, I want to go to Guyman. Back to Guyman.
Is that where you used to live?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if the court closes the case today, or if it extends it and eventually closes, are you going to be protective of your kids?
Yes, I'm always protected on him.
And are you here today just asking the court just to close out this case and just let you and your children move forward with their lives?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Trout?
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Roberson, you just stated that you're always protective of your kids, correct?
Yes.
Yet you've got criminal charges pending for fights with your kids, correct?
Yes.
You testified earlier that you heard in the last hearing that don't need to go to counseling if you miss school, so the kids can go to school, correct?
Correct.
And you just testified you didn't take the child to counseling or to school just because you didn't want to.
Correct.
Okay. You talked about a doctor's note from the injury in February. Was that doctor's note falsified?
No.
Did you actually take that child to see the doctor that day?
Yes.
Okay. You know, you're aware that those are unexcused because the school has different information, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it your understanding that the doctor's office actually said they did not see him that day?
I didn't know they did. They gave me the note. I'm the one that gave it to them. All my doctor notes I give to the school.
Okay. Do you see that there is an issue with, since Angel has been back in your home, he has missed 5 times as much school as he did in the first 2 months of school?
I mean, the only thing is when we're sick. That's it. Just except for
Well, except for when you don't feel like taking them.
that was yesterday.
Okay. What was the problem with the 7th? March 7th.
He had to have fever because that's the only time I don't take him to school.
Okay. He had to have, so you're not sure why he didn't go to school that day.
Correct.
Okay. And then what would you say that the situation was on March 21st?
The 24-hour air, his air was leaking, drainage.
Okay, was he running fever?
A little bit, but not too much, no.
But you don't have a doctor's note or an excuse for that.
No, because I didn't take him to the doctor. I thought I can do it myself, and I did.
Okay. But as up to yesterday, you just decided he didn't need to go to school yesterday.
It's because it's going to be too late. I thought.
Is it too late to spend time in school as much as he can?
No.
Okay, so you should have taken him to school.
Correct.
Earlier, there was some testimony or statement made that you wanted to go back to Oklahoma because that's where you were more comfortable. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. If that's the case, why did you come to from Oklahoma to Amarillo?
Because I got sick at work where it almost killed me. And I had no family out there, so I needed to come home, and Jose was going to prison.
Okay. But now that Jose's out, you want to go back to Oklahoma?
I've been wanting to go back.
Okay, because you knew he was getting out?
No, I didn't know when he was getting out.
Okay. Have you been in touch with him throughout this case?
Every once in a while he calls.
So you knew kind of when his release was going to be?
He got released and called me, yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. Lucero asked a question earlier about if you were planning on getting back with him. You just said you wanted to go back to Oklahoma and didn't actually answer the question. Are you going, if you go back to Oklahoma, are you going back to back to a relationship with Jose Ramos?
Not at the moment, no.
Is that your plan?
No, I'm planning just to go back to Guyman, not city.
Okay. But you're not saying one way or another whether you're going back for a relationship or not.
I don't want a relationship. He's got to show me he's got to change first.
So you're willing to see if he is?
If he changes, but that's later down the road. It's not anytime soon.
Why didn't you go to the truancy workshop?
I have to work.
Okay. You also understand that if your child misses too much school under your agreement you signed with the school, they can take you to court over truancy, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And part of your agreement was a truancy workshop if he misses more school.
Yes, she called me the day before it.
Okay. Did you let them know that you weren't coming to that workshop?
She told me at 10 and I didn't call them.
Okay. So that's another agreement with Angel School that you have not upheld.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, I guess. I mean,
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Zavala, do you have any questions for her?
I think all of mine have been covered, no questions.
All right, Ms. Lucero, anything
Have one
further with
thought.
this witness?
Just one follow-up, Your Honor. Whenever you signed that agreement, for the truancy workshop, did they tell you when they, that they would give you advance notice, or how was that supposed to work?
She said they would call me on the appointment, and nobody's called me, but she called me the day before and told me to go at 10. And I told her if I can, if I'm not at work.
And due to your sickness, with prior testimony, had you missed work because you were sick?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you miss work, does that keep you from making money so you can support your children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you currently work at Tyson?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Roberson, are you paid weekly at
Yes.
Tyson? You are?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you working full-time there?
They're only doing 32 hours.
32 hours a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay, anybody else have any questions for Ms. Roberson?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Diane. Okay. All right, Ms. Lucero, any other witnesses to call on this issue?
No other witnesses on this issue, Your Honor, no.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, anything to present?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, here's what I want to do with the remainder of our time today, which isn't a lot, but we're definitely going to proceed on Casey's case. All right, get that done. So, Ms. Roberson, here's what I want to do is I'm looking at resetting the final on this either May 29th or June 5th. All right, and I'm going to tell you exactly what my concerns are. The number of absences in school is a huge thing for me. Because it's really hard to get kids caught up from that. So I want to see how attendance is between now and the end of the school year. The other thing that jumps right off the page at me about all of this is, let's assume you get to court here at the beginning of April. A couple of things can happen. You might get passed again. You might not get your deal done. And then that's still just hanging, and we don't know what's going to happen with that. If you take a plea deal and you're on probation, that's felony probation. And, to go to Oklahoma, you got to get that transferred. They got to be willing to accept you as a probationer. And some states are a lot harder on that than others. I haven't been in that game in a very long time, but they don't have to take you. And often they may want to see if you've been on probation for a while and that you haven't been a problem and that that's going to be you're going to be a pretty easy case for them. So, you may newly be on probation. I mean, you're telling me that's what you're hoping for, is to cut a deal and get probation on this thing. So, this whole concept about up and going to Oklahoma, if you weren't aware of that, you need to be aware of that. That's not just as easy as you just packing your bags and going once you're on felony probation. So I'd like to see how that pans out. Maybe that'll happen in early April, and maybe it won't. And you might get passed to a May docket. Maybe it'll happen in May. But, I understand why you want to be done with all this. I know you're tired of everybody in your business, but I'm still concerned we have some things going on that we need to be on top of it. So what I'm going to suggest to you, because everybody has times where they get sick, everybody has times where they can't go to work, you need to start at a minimum. I want you to start putting away $5 a week. Save it somewhere safe in your home, a checking account, a bank account, whatever you've got. $5 a week that you do not spend. And that gets saved for those emergency days or weeks where you're homesick and you're not getting a paycheck. Because, you know, if you aren't sick for a couple months, all of a sudden, you know, you got a nice little cushion there to go buy some groceries if you do get sick. So just $5 a week. Okay?
Okay.
I mean, the day may come that you'll thank me for that. You know, so I really want you to do that. I get it. Things happen. Kids get sick. They're, you know, school's like a, I mean, kids in school, I get it. I understand. But there's just too many that are unexcused. And you know, your decision, which the decision you made yesterday, you know, the day before we're coming to court to talk about all this, it really kind of mystifies me why you would have made that decision, you know, at this point in time in this case. And that tells me that was just a lack of good judgment on your part. You know, AJ has missed so much school. He needs to have himself in that seat at school every possible moment, Monday through Friday. And, you know, and I know he's little, I know he's 6, and I know he's early on in school years, but I cannot stress to you, as if kids get behind in school, if they get held back, they get behind, every year that goes, I mean, the more and more unlikely it becomes that they will ever graduate. So the percentages on that are really concerning when you really track it, and kids held back. Maybe they're held back in 2nd grade, you know, and that doesn't seem like that big a deal. But by the time they're 18, they're not with their peer group anymore. You know, now they're back, they're a junior, and everybody they know and everybody their age group's graduating and is getting out of school. And you know, that's when kids just start throwing in the towel and they don't graduate. So the statistics are really overwhelming on that. So we want to keep him on track. I want to see him hopefully get his work caught up and pass through his grade level. And if he doesn't do it, then summer school, you know, so that he will stay on his grade level track. It's just so important. So it may not seem like a big deal now, but it will be one day. All right, then Miss Katie has shot 2 dates at us, May 29th on a 9 o'clock docket or June 5th on a 9 o'clock docket. I'm good either way. So whatever y'all want to do, whatever we can get everybody here to do.
May 29th works for me, Your Honor.
I'm
Thanks.
good with either.
Yeah.
I'm good with either, Your Honor.
Okay, well, let's just go for the May 29th. I think school will be out by then. I don't have those dates in front of me, but that's after Memorial Day weekend, so I'm assuming they'd be wrapped up. Probably one of you younger people on this screen that have school-age children might even know that date. I don't know. I don't keep as good a tabs on that as I probably should.
I should know that date, but
I should too, but I don't either.
Yeah. Miss Katie is always good about giving me a school schedule, and now I don't know what I've done with it. So,
The last day of school is May 23rd.
okay. I had a feeling it would be before the Memorial Day weekend. So we'll be able to know how the school year ended up, and is he on grade level? Is he gonna go, you know, does he have to do summer school? All those kinds of things. So our dismissal date isn't until July 11th. You know, I don't want to push it out any further, but we do at least have the benefit of that if we have to have it. So, all right. So let's say May 29th on a 9 o'clock docket for Naeli's case and AJ's case. All right, then, Mr. Trout, with respect to Casey's case. That's a lot in one sentence, Casey's case. If you want to go ahead and proceed with that, I'll be happy to take. If you want to offer him that way, judicial notice of those relinquishments.
Yes, ma'am, I have them either way, and I just, I had my investigator here in case we needed to prove up, but if on the adversarial part, but if Ms. Lucero and Ms. Zavala are okay stipulating and letting you take judicial notice to that affidavit that was filed with the court at removal, so we don't go through the full testimony with the investigator, Your Honor.
I'm good with that. Everybody else good with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all
And
right then.
And Judge, with that, if I can let Ms. Eniga go, she was here for that in case I needed to do the testimony on that side. So if we could release her and I'll present the exhibits.
All right, Ms. Eniga, I think you're free to go. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, Mr. Trout.
And Judge, since everybody is in agreement with that, if we could take judicial notice of the affidavit of removal in this case. In the reasons.
All right, any objection, counsel?
No objection?
Objection.
All right, I'll take judicial notice of the affidavit of removal that was presented to the court along with an order for protection at the beginning of the case.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, I call Tessa Weston.
All right, Ms. Weston, you're still under oath.
Hey.
Ms. Weston, did, in the case involving the child, Casey Roberson, did mom, the mother, Jessica Roberson, execute an affidavit of voluntary relinquishment on the 6th day of January 2025?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to review that relinquishment?
Yes, sir.
Were there 2 witnesses?
Yes.
Did the mother, Jessica Roberson, sign the relinquishment?
Yes, she did.
Hey, was it notarized?
Yes.
And has the department consented to being the designated managing conservator of the child?
Yes.
Was that filed with the court on January 6th of 2025?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the court admit exhibit number 1 is the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment that Ms. Weston was just testifying to, that has been filed with the court.
No
No
objection.
objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Weston, are you asking the court to terminate the parental rights of Jessica Roberson as to KC Nicole Roberson based solely upon the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that is in the best interest of the child?
Yes, I do.
And did you receive exhibit number 2?
Yes.
And exhibit number 2, is that a affidavit of voluntary relinquishment that Stephen Garcia signed as to the child KC Roberson?
Yes, it is.
And did he execute that on the 22nd day of January 2024?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to review that relinquishment?
Yes.
Did he sign the relinquishment?
Yes, he did.
Were there 2 witnesses?
Yes, sir.
Was it notarized?
Yes.
The department consented to being the designated managing conservator of the child.
Yes.
And was this filed with the court on January 3rd of 2025?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to take, for the court to admit exhibit number 2, which is the affidavit that was just testified to.
Any
No
objection?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Weston, are you asking the court to terminate the parental rights of Stephen Garcia as to the child KC Nicole Roberson based solely upon the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that is in the best interest of the child?
Yes, I do.
And where's the child now?
Casey is at High Plains Children's Home. in Amarillo, Texas.
How is she doing?
She's doing fantastic. She loves it there and is happy and thriving.
And you do believe that this termination, and to name the department as permanent managing conservator of KC would be in the child's best interest?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lucero, any questions?
Questions, Your Honor?
All right, and Ms. Zavala?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further of this witness?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
If you asked her, I may miss it, but is the department waiving all other grounds that were pled for with respect to termination?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, I don't think I asked it the way I just asked if she was asking for solely based on. I don't think I asked it directly that way, though.
I may have missed your word solely. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, department rests
Department rest.
and Ms. Lucero?
Your Honor, I rest for today.
Okay, and Ms. Zavala?
No witnesses, I rest.
All right, Mr. Harwood's not present, so I know he was notified of the hearing, but okay then. At this time, well, let me just ask CASA. I mean, I want Ms. Zavala's recommendation and CASA. So, Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I've met with Casey. I've explained these relinquishments to her. It is what she wants, and I also believe it is very much in her best interest. She is doing amazingly well, and has a great supportive team both at school and placement. And I believe that this is in her best interest.
All right, thank you. And CASA?
We're in agreement as well. I personally went to see her twice this last month. I just happened to be there seeing other kids, and she has been super happy both times I've been there. The other kids that I've seen have even said that she's doing really good and has even improved in some of her skills that she does by herself since being there, and she's just doing really good. So we're in agreement.
All right, great. I appreciate it. And thanks, CASA, for everything you've done for all of the children. All right, then at this time, I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of the child, Casey Nicole Roberson, to terminate the parental rights between the child and her mother, Jessica Roberson, and her father, Stephen Garcia, based on their voluntary affidavits of relinquishment of parental rights under Texas Family Code 161.001B1K and the best interest under 161.001 subsection B2. I will name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the permanent managing conservator of the child, and I'll dismiss all court-appointed attorneys at this time, with the exception of Ms. Zavala, who will remain as the child's attorney and guardian ad litem. Does CASA wish to remain in the case?
We were going to leave this one up to you as well.
Okay, I think she's 17. She's seems to be doing great right now. I can always reappoint if something comes up. So I think I'll go ahead and dismiss you all out and let you move forward serving other children in our area.
Okay.
And I appreciate everything y'all have done. So
Yes, ma'am.
council, as always, do be aware that your de novo timeframe does begin to run since I've rendered an open court. And if you're instructed to file a notice of appeal, please do not do so until a final order has been signed and adopted by the referring court. For those still involved, I'll see you back June 5th of 2025. That will be on a 9 o'clock docket.
In Your Honor, Ms. Katie has sent out a message if we're going to treat this as a call and recess or a review. Is it going to be a review? I just didn't know.
On Helen. No,
Yes, I'm sorry,
Oh.
yeah.
Roberson Ramos cases.
Mhm.
I think that, we need to also enter a review order on those, so because it really isn't a call and recess. So does everybody feel like we've covered sort of what's going on with the kids, and or do we need to back up and do a little bit more?
I think we covered most of the issues that we were having, Your Honor. As far, I think what we would be presenting in a review would be the same as what we talked about today.
Everybody good with that?
I'm good with that.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor. And I didn't say this before, but I did meet with both of the kids and so.
Okay,